Norway, one of the last great road trip frontiers. These are the voyages of our campervan Big Eddy 2. Its mission to wander into the wild and weathered, to discover camp spots that stay with you forever, and to find the stories that hide behind every mountain and shore. And to camp, yes, boldly, where we've never camped before. Travelogue of Big Eddy 2, travel date 2809.25. The crew is in high spirits. Food and fuel tanks are sufficiently full, and Big Eddy 2 runs smoothly. The course is set for Norway. Denmark's long spine, Jutland, reveals itself less of an adventure, but more as an unbroken chain of roadworks. It feels as though someone unrolled Europe's largest construction project just for us. We abandon the chaos and slip into a quiet embrace of a small lakeside clearing. Peaceful, and yet only a few hundred meters away from the noisy motorway. A gentle prologue of the roads ahead. The morning returns and we continue north, and Hirtshals arrives, modest, unadorned, yet its windswept Skagerrak shores already whisper of the rough northern world awaiting us. Sharp winds on our cheeks, gulls circling and screeching overhead. And then, the moment to board the ship. The MS Bergen's fjord, our drifting microcosm for the next 18 hours.
Das ist ja easy.
Deck 1 to 6, cars and caravans. Deck 7, the ship's bustling heart. A buffet restaurant, self-service cafe. And the fjord lounge for those passengers seeking slightly more refined comfort. Deck 8 and 9 hold the cabins.
Und so sieht die aus. Guck mal, der Patrick hat sich nochmal hingelegt und das Quinny auch. Der pure Luxus. Wahnsinn.
And Deck 10, the Sky Lounge. It offers a sun deck, warming heaters and a lively bar. Even a playground for restless children. And, regrettably, a so-called dog hotel. Metal cages and plastic poop turf. Little Mr. Cuinn gave it one solitary look and turned away with the elegant yet unmistakable disapproval. Pier 42, the sports bar, a pub on the seas, packed at night with pints, football screens and a gentle haze of stories. Now, At dawn, it lies silent and spotlessly clean, as though the night had never happened. A grand piano sits in the corners with its keys locked, ensuring that "What Shall We Do with a Drunken Sailor" remains blissfully unsung by me tonight. In the bow, the Sea View Bar glitters, a glass-fronted dance floor with live music. Here, some passengers rediscover decade-old school dance moves, and the drummer, apparently too enthusiastic, he needed to be kept safely behind glass. "18 hours at sea, most of them spent in the Sky Lounge on Deck 10. Where the sky and water dissolve into a single, ever-so-shifting horizon. The Danish flag snaps sharply in the wind as our ship presses steadily north. After a short stop in Stavanger, and yes, apparently this is indeed how you pronounce it, the ferry glides deeper into the labyrinth of skerries and fjords. It's time well spent stepping onto the deck simply to watch the landscape unfold as the ship presses deeper into Norway's coastal region. And then Bergen, at last. But instead of driving into the city, we turn towards the islands. Tunnels, bridges, narrow roads, a gentle rehearsal for the Norway that lies ahead. A small marina waits by the water. Between quiet boats and drifting gulls, we make our first camp on Norwegian soil. A still moment, whispering that our adventure is truly about to begin. The next morning draws us back into Bergen. Once the capital of Norway, but now only the undisputed rain capital of Europe. Here you have a 1 in 3 chance it won't rain. Today, miraculously, it doesn't rain. We should have bought a lottery ticket. Founded in 1070, Bergen remains the gateway to the fjords. The fish market moves to a pulse of voices and sea-washed aromas. Tourists chat with spider crabs as if greeting an old friend. Touristy? Yes, but also an echo of the Hanseatic heart that never quite faded. Feeling hungry? Søstrene Hagelin, famous for its fish cakes since 1929. Or Tre Kronenen, a tiny stand serving perhaps the best hot dogs south of the Arctic Circle, keeping both lunch crowds and late-night party crowds alive until 3:30 in the morning. And for afternoon tea, we suggest two choices. The Skillingsbolle, flat, soft, unmistakably Bergen, or the Norwegian cinnamon roll, thick, moist, and uncompromisingly sweet. Both are a bite into Bergen's history, simply told with a slightly different accent. Bergen, the iconic harbourfront, stands in bright, fairy tale colors. Step behind the facades, though, and you slip back in time. Narrow alleys, creaking timber, and the unmistakable scent of stockfish. Bergen, where facades deceive, backyards tell stories, and rain is merely an excuse for yet another cinnamon roll. We leave Bergen. Adventure waits. Our destination, the Vikfjellet, little known, mostly a winter playground for Norwegian skiing enthusiasts. But here, mountains glow in shifting light and lakes shine like polished mirrors. And at Lake Skillingavatnet, we turn left. The asphalt ends, replaced by gravel. Then inclines, 10% at first, then 14%. A gate, a sign, at your own risk beyond this point. Unimpressed by the sign's pessimistic gloom, we blithely press on anyway. The road narrows. The air thins. The incline borders on the absurd. The tires dig into the gravel, and then full stop. Stand still. The Fiat Ducato, as brave as it might be with its front-wheel drive, falters, and the mountain wins. We're stuck. Panic flickers inside the cockpit, but drama, not quite. Reverse gear, a gentle and controlled rollback. Another attempt, and this time with more courage and more momentum. No video could ever capture how steep it truly was. Rock wall on the left and the abyss on the right. And from the passenger seat, the eternal warning.
Nicht so weit rechts, oder ich krieg hier keine Krise.
A tightrope act on four wheels. But we make it. High above, awaiting the promised view, and then somebody's already there. Oh, come on! Still, we stay, respectfully distant, almost alone, with a view that pulls us to our knees. 3 sheep wander about, curious, friendly, and much to Quinn's escalating frustration. Morning arrives with soft fog draped across the valleys, and mountains cradle us like 2 protective hands. Every tunnel feels like a doorway into another world, Middle-earth perhaps, or more realistically, the road towards Ålandsvängen, our next destination. And as so often in Norway, every tunnel reveals another postcard waiting on the other side. With a campervan usually already parked in the best spot, of course. We roll into Ålandsvängen, picturesque yet frayed by summer tourism. This is where the original penny loafers were invented. Yes, those barefoot in leather fetish shoes. There's even a museum for them. And up we go again, narrow, very narrow. Asphalt this time, at least, wide enough for 1 truck, which naturally appears in the least forgiving bend.
Nicht so weit rechts.
Ich muss hier so weit rechts, dass er hier durchkommt.
Ja, aber dann passt hier bitte auf.
Ja.
Ich meine, muss der hier wirklich hier runterfahren?
Ganz ehrlich, crazy. Gefilmt?
Ja.
The Ålandsfjord stretches below. We pause for the view, Big Eddie 2 inhales, and so do we. Skagerrak, the celebrated viewpoint, an architectural gem, they say, but in our opinion, a little overrated.
So, liebe Leute, wir sind ja unterwegs.
We are traveling in Norway, as you know. We are currently on the Gammel Ålandsvegen, and, well, I would say pretty demanding roads we have here. I mean, we know that Norway has narrow roads, but here they are particularly tight. And constantly there is a tour bus heading your way. It's unfathomable. Mixed with cyclists and pedestrians who also want to use the road, and therefore it's a constant stop and go back and forth. Big Eddie is handling it quite well, deals with the steep inclines despite the semi-automatic transition he has. And we've arrived not quite at the summit yet, but at the point, at the gate, where the road will be closed in winter. And let me show you the view. It's quite stunning here already, and I think it will even get better. Reaching the summit, the landscape suddenly shifts towards the otherworldly. Rock, grass, lichens dominate. And from here, thankfully, finally things slow down and become a bit more quiet, less tourists, still quite a few motorhomes, and I ask myself, where are they planning to overnight? Up here on this stretch, there is not much space for wild camping. Let me have a look if they will crowd up laybys, and I will report accordingly. So now it's time to carry on. Skolane. Once summer shelters for farmers and their herds, now they stand weathered but proud, out of use but not forgotten. Space at last to fly. The drone lifts off, the view breathtaking. If only the memory card had cooperated. No file was saved, lost forever. And so our drone drama begins, Act 1. We descend into the valley, a very steep descent. The smell of burning brakes forces us to pull over near Lærdalsøri to let them cool off. A park up overlooking the Sogne Fjord, Norway's longest fjord, where we decide to spend the night. I launch the drone again and am so overwhelmed by the scenery I forget to press the record button. Only the landing is captured. And this is Drone Drama, Act number 2. In the morning we head into Lærdalsøri, a town straight from a western set, timber facades telling stories sturdier than any Hollywood could ever build. The road ahead leads deeper into Fjordland. A short ferry ride and suddenly everything looks like it was lifted right from a Norway travel brochure. Fjords, mountains, rivers, glaciers. Fjærland makes for a perfect lunch stop. Its streets lined with antique bookshops and a sauna sitting right on the fjord, arguably boasting the best view of any sauna in the world. A quick detour to Boyabreen Glacier. Practically roadside, like a block of ice forgotten in the sun. Continuing through the Stardalselva Valley. Many campers stop here, but for us it felt too close to the road, too exposed, so we drove on. There was still too much road ahead of us. In fjord-eyed, we gather supplies. Parked almost absurdly beside a massive cruise ship towering above the tiny harbor town. The sun drifts lower. Time to find a place for the night. This evening, a campground. Wild camping is almost impossible here. Every flat corner already spoken for.
And as we settle in, the same cruise ship sails by into the sunset. Tomorrow, we will follow it west.
Dawn lifts us across the bridge into Malloy. And there it is again, another cruise ship resting in the harbor like a sleeping city.
Kreuzfahrt-Zombies, guck sie dir an. Hier ist nichts zu gucken. Hier gibt's nur Souvenirshops irgendwie. Das sind Geschäfte wie überall. Pullover, Norweger Pullover, Norweger Socken, Norweger Unterhose.
The town feels paused, suspended, only to release a colorful wave of tourists into the narrow streets. A tide of outdoor jackets surges past, cheerful, loud, and thankfully brief. And Malloy itself, pleasant enough, but not the kind of place that lingers in your memory. So we move on. Pump, dump, fill up, and onward. Our first stop is Reviksunden, a bay so beautiful it seems borrowed from a dream. White sand, turquoise water, and mountains rising like guardians around a sacred pool. We want to stay, but the campground is closed, and wild camping would be neither discreet nor welcome, nowhere gentle enough to disappear without disturbing the locals. So we climb higher, winding our way over the mountains of Vauxhall towards Crokeness Lighthouse, a place where painters once came for a lifetime and never found enough canvas. The road becomes its own artwork, cliffs, clouds, shifting light, and each turn a new brush stroke on the world's oldest painting. At the lighthouse, we expect solitude. Instead, tour buses from the cruise ship, of course. But a little farther along, on a lonely stretch of cliffside, we find our place for the night. A short walk to the lighthouse, the drone rises into the wind, the sun settling into the Atlantic, a quiet hymn to simple camp life. Morning brings the day we hoped for, a beach day at last. Hoodewick, a crescent-shaped bay where oceans roll in with steady, patient breath, surfers wait for their moment, sheep wander the road as if they own it. And we wonder, how do people survive winter here, when the wind turns sharp and the snow seals the mountains shut? The campground is full, so we wait, watch and hope.
23 bis 6 darfst du hier nicht parken. No camping.
And by late afternoon a space opens like a small mercy. Sometimes Norway rewards patience. The next day brings the familiar rhythm of Norway, up and down again, switchbacks and sheep, cliffs and déjà vu. We stop briefly at Hirtshals, a farm perched at the peninsula's western edge, perfect for families, but we continue north, the road pulling us towards Ålesund.
Dankeschön. Dankeschön. Ja, ja. Okay. Eigentlich wollte ich die Lachsfarm filmen.
That evening we settle at Lanternen Marina in Jensholmen, a curious blend of fjord romance and roadside burgers. Not refined cuisine, but honest food, honest views, and honest sleep. Morning arrives and with it another ferry.
Alle gleichzeitig. Yay! Jeder bleibt in seiner Spur.
Ålesund, the Art Nouveau city born from the ashes in 1904. A city rebuilt with the help of Kaiser Wilhelm II, who loved this place so dearly that one street still carries his name. We drive through tunnels, board yet another ferry, and finally reach the quiet slopes of Medoya, a place with broad views and uneasy wind. Quinn senses something strange, a low growl carried off by the breeze, as if he's hearing something that we cannot. We never found out what it was. A ferry from Sulholmen to Mårdalsvågen glides us deeper into the world of skerries and still water. We pause at a small marina, quiet, almost forgotten. A few boats rock in the evening light. The water reflects the sky with perfect indifference. So we fall asleep to the gentle rhythm of the waves, carrying the sense that tomorrow may become one of those rare days you never forget. We want the Atlantic Road in its best light, early morning, before the buses come, before the wind awakes. We reach the edge of something iconic, the Atlantic Road. 8.3 kilometers of asphalt suspended between ocean and sky, a ribbon of engineering leaping from island to island, bold, improbable, almost surreal. It is shorter than the photographs suggest, less dramatic than the postcards pretend, but no less extraordinary. Perhaps you must see it in a storm to grasp its full power, when sea spray and road become the same breath, and nature and engineering shake hands in the wind. At the far end waits Kristiansund, a city stretched across 4 islands braided together by the Sundbåten, the world's oldest public ferry service. Since 1876, it has drifted between the islands, slow, charming, unhurried. A full loop around takes 40 gentle minutes, and the best part, it's free. We stayed only briefly. A coffee by the harbor, a last look at the Atlantic, and then we turned inland. Towards Geiranger, towards Trollstigen, towards the mountains. After days of waves, sand, and the Atlantic horizon, the mountains call us back. The perfect road trip? Only if you understand that the best adventures begin the moment your plans fall apart. Kristiansund was the final stop of our Atlantic chapter. From there, the road bent inward again toward valleys and switchbacks, and the long return south. A park-up tucked quietly along the Romsdalsfjord.
Warum querstehen, Leute? Warum querstehen? Ja, fein.
Clouds painted slow drifting frescoes across the sky. And Cuinn discovered that goats sound different from sheep. A revelation he handled with equal parts of curiosity and indignation. The morning brought 110 kilometers of several mountain passes ahead of us. A knot of nerves traveled with us in the cockpit. Would Big Eddie take it in his stride? We surely hoped so. From the campsite, it was only a short glide to the foot of Trollstigen, Norway's most famous mountain road. It begins humbly. A right turn over a small bridge, almost apologetic. But every Norwegian knows what lies ahead and what waits above.
Hier ist auch Camping mit Blick auf die Trollstigen. So, was wird das jetzt hier?
And then the first cow. The first waterfall. the first whisper of what's coming. Moments later, the serpentine climb rises into view, relentless, legendary, unmistakable. Big Eddie too handles it with quiet dignity, pulling most of it in third gear, proving himself more of a mountain goat than van. And yes, the windshield could have used cleaning. So drive with us Norway's Trollstigen in 4 minutes.
Left the big city for the simple country life. Found myself a woman that it took for me to be my wife. I was working on the ground, come the sun up to sundown. Hey, I'm trying to make a reputation for a man inside this town. Hard as I try, maybe I just can't. I ain't no up and kinda leaving me. She kissed me one time and she took my heart. Baby, you can love me, you can leave me, I'm a honky-tonk star. Yeah, I'm a honky-tonk star. Well, working 3 jobs, living out of a car. Mama never told me life would get this hard. Running around the world playing my guitar. Baby, you can love me, you can leave me, I'm a honky-tonk star. Yeah, I'm a honky-tonk star. Yeah, I know George Jones and Gary Sturt, and all them young guns, yeah, they've been through. Tell you one thing that you won't believe, a woman ain't nothing but a thing to me. Burn right through them like a cigarette, or a line of cocaine on a private jet. I give them good loving like they won't forget. Baby, good Lord knows what time it is. Hard as I try, maybe I just can't. I ain't no up and kinda leaving me. She kissed me one time and she took my heart. Baby, you can love me, you can leave me, I'm a honky-tonk star. Well, working 3 jobs, living out of a car. Mama never told me life would get this hard. Running around the world playing my guitar. Baby, you can love me, you can leave me, I'm a honky-tonk star. Yeah, I'm a honky-tonk star. I'm a honky-tonk star. Lord, I'm a honky-tonk star. Well, working 3 jobs, living out of a car. Mama never told me life would get this hard. Running around the world playing my guitar. Baby, you can love me, you can leave me, I'm a honky-tonk star. Yeah, a honky-tonk star. Well, working 3 jobs, living out of a car. Mama never told me life would get this hard. Running around the world playing my guitar. Baby, you can love me, you can leave me, I'm a honky-tonk star. Yeah, I'm a honky-tonk star. I'm a honky-tonk star. Lord, I'm a honky-tonk star.
This is where we captured the cover photo of our travel guide, the image that holds the whole journey in one frame. Link to the guide below. At the top, the landscapes open and the descent begins surprisingly gentle, comforting even, until the occasional emergency stop for a lumbering cruise ship bus snaps you back to reality.
Immer in der Kurve.
Nicht rein.
Tschüss, Max.
Down in the valley, waiting faithfully, stands another ferry. Good thing we had the Autopass Ferge. Ahead lies Ørnesvingen Viewpoint, the famous balcony above the Geiranger Fjord. If luck is kind, you can watch the great cruise ships slide silently below you, as if the fjord itself were turning pages in a book of giants. Feeling bold, I launched the drone, a straight line, a confident flight path directly into the mountainside. One hour of searching, nothing. Time to dress the wound in optimism, part of a bigger plan perhaps to buy a new drone. Drone Drama Final Act.
Okay, es gibt eine neue Drohne. Juhu.
Back on the road, we are reminded how effortlessly Norwegians handle roads that would terrify the rest of us. Skagerrak, when we reach it, feels underwhelming. A place where the beauty lies not in the village, but in everything that surrounds it. I cannot imagine it in peak season, when 3 cruise ships tower overhead like floating apartment blocks. Another tour bus? This is definitely not for us. It's time to escape back into nature. We search high in the Sonnenmoor Alps, known locally as the Geirangerfjell, for a place to spend the night. The first spot is pleasant, but full. Reverse gear? There must be something better. And there it is, almost perfect. Close to the road, yes, but with a view that feels like standing on the edge of the world. We plan Dalsnippa for the morning, Norway's highest drivable viewpoint. Solitude, silence, a moment outside of time, or so we think. Then a bus. Followed by clouds rolling in like a slow, deliberate prophecy.
Oh, ist das windig. Quilli, das ist so windig. Was? Da wiegst du ja fast weg. Ja. Was denn? Ist windig? Hä? Der Hund fliegt gleich weg. Mein Herr. Wow. Das ist windig. Ja, ich gehe ja jetzt auch rein. Oh, es ist kalt.
And that night, the storm arrives. Big Eddie shakes like a tin can in a dryer. Quinn is awake. We are awake. And when the wind claws at the skylights, trying to wrench them from their hinges, we realize that this is no place to wait for dawn.
Move! I'll drive! Go! Go! We need to move now!
I'm on it! Get that door!
Go! Go! Go!
I'll drive! Get in!
Got it! Let's get out of here!
A few hundred meters down the road, an abandoned hotel offers refuge from the storm. Its empty walls holding the wind at bay just long enough for us to sleep. The morning brings calmer winds, yet relentless rain, and with it, a quiet sadness. The knowledge that the road ahead leads towards home, towards Oslo, towards Larvik, towards the closing miles of our journey. And a familiar ache settles in, that melancholy that arrives when a great adventure begins to fade from present tense into memory. But not yet, not entirely. We realize that the road towards home has still so much to share with us. So pop in a groovy road trip playlist and off we go.
We are on the move, rolling out at sunrise. Chrome along the ridges, sparkles in our eyes. Through the valleys, through the mountains where the roads align. Sleeping by the rivers when the night feels fine. Big Eddie humming like a heartbeat on the run. Every little journey feels a little like fun. Life on the move, chasing
The landscape opens into long, straight roads, threads of tarmac stretching toward the horizon, almost like an American highway.
turn the engine up, we just can't lose.
Without noticing, we climb higher, higher, and suddenly we're standing at 1,600 meters.
Coastlines in the mirror, freedom in the air. Golden hours shining on the vanlife wear and tear. Fjord to ferry crossing, Norway drifting back. Two hearts on a deck as the sky fades black.
A short stop where earth and sky feel for a moment as if they have become one.
But we're living it now, moving, grooving, never standing still. Rolling, rolling, up and down the hill. Feel it,
Back in the valley, we search for another place to rest for the night, and we find one beside a river where the water murmurs us to sleep.
we're still in the show.
The next day, we continue to our ferry port. There's lunch beside a quiet lake. And just before Larvik, a promising free campsite on Park for Night catches my eye. Promising, yes, but reality disagrees. steep, narrow roads to reach the campsite, and then the place completely full. Of course, it's free. What did we expect?
So, nu? Komm, wir gehen erstmal gucken. Die wollte wahrscheinlich hier rein. Was?
Das ist nicht voll.
Ja.
Aber willst du jetzt?
Ich wusste nicht, was du willst.
Das ist, glaube ich, nicht viel.
A single old Ford Econoline sits there, a big Eddie 1. A brief wave of nostalgia overcomes us. But we continue. In Larvik, we stop for the night next to a sports field. Not glorious, but entertaining in its own scruffy way. At night, the local party crowd stumbles past, a little drunk, a little off-key, and entirely human.
Hold my hair, hold my hair. It's okay, breathe.
Don't worry, champ. Everyone does it once. All right. I'm good.
At dawn, time to board the ferry, Larvik to Hirtshals, from Norway to Denmark. Colorline this time, a worthy sparring partner for fjord lines. More modern, bright, efficiently run, refreshingly straightforward.
You that you have to bring a valid boarding card if you wish to purchase tax-free quota items. The quota when entering Denmark is 1 liter of spirits, 4 liters of wine, 16 liters of beer and 200 cigarettes or 250 grams tobacco. Bear in mind that the boarding card is personal and using the boarding card belonging to another person when shopping is prohibited. Please be aware that guests that have been out of the country for less than 24 hours do not have the opportunity to shop tax-free quota products on the return journey.
Customs regulations, check. Three hours across the Skagerrak. Hirtshals, Jutland, Germany. The autobahn running south like a closing paragraph. And as we cross the Kiel Canal near Rendsburg, it hits the undeniable truth that the journey is over. But then again, after this journey comes the next. And where the next road leads, well, that, my friend, that is a story for our next season.
wakes up with a cough and a clatter. Patrick spills his coffee, says it doesn't matter. Olaf checks the map, he won't follow today. Quinn jumps up front like, hey man, start the day. We roll out slow, legends in the making. Road humming low, past still baking. If our plan survives the morning, that's a twist. Who needs a plan when freedom feels like this? Travel, can't live. That's the rhythm that the wild road gives. From Norway's cliffs to the wide blue sea, the horizon keeps calling. Follow me. Travel, can't live. Every mile has a story to give. Big Eddie rattles, Quinn sleeps like a king. And that's how the Campers Chronicles begin. We find a spot that smells like pine and adventure. Patrick checks the fridge like a crime scene inspector. Olaf burns the toast, calls it artisan jar. Quinn steals it fast, thinks he's a superstar. If the brakes smell hot, we call it perfume. If the rain won't stop, we dance in the gloom. If the van breaks down, we laugh and we film it on this crazy road. Even breakdowns have spirit. Travel, can't live. Every mile has a gift to